Hello everyone, this is Otaku Showboat. Today is Friday, October 25th, 2019, and welcome to this week's update vlog, the Otaku vlog for this week. So, what is there to really talk about this week? Well, primarily, first, a big thank you to the Gentleman's Thoughts on Twitch for the tip, $10 tip this week, as well as the 100 bits, because we finally got to Circuit 3 production in the Pyanodons playthrough. Oh boy. Finally, we have gotten up to Circuit 3s on the Pyanodons playthrough, and I will tell you now, for those of you who are watching my vlog series, that going forward into Sunday's stream, I am going to have no less than, I think it's 3 blueprints that we are going to be using, one of which I have placed off screen. That is for molybdenum ore mining. Oh boy, so it is a blueprint to produce drilling fluid 3 to use for glorious molybdenum ore mining, and it has like molybdenum processing all the way up to molybdenum trioxide, not plates. And the reason for that is because I was planning out a build for super alloy. That's what I was planning out. I was planning out a build for super alloy. In particular, my second blueprint is one where I will process petroleum into liquid petroleum and use that to produce, it's like 50 something per second of helium. It's actually really nice, this particular setup that I have built in one 2x2. It's actually like half of a 2x2 square to actually process this petroleum into helium out, basically, with a number of outside inputs to go with that. But as it turns out, I can't really do that quite yet because I happen to sort of need super alloy and special small parts to build the buildings that will give me the helium to make more super alloy. Yeah, it's one of those weird situations. So we have to get helium through another means, which is why we are going to have our helium done initially through particle acceleration, and then once we get enough of our super alloy for our special small parts, for enough special small parts so that we can have all of the buildings built to set up better helium, that's when I'll stop the particle acceleration for helium, because it's really expensive. That's really expensive to do particle acceleration for helium, but that's just going to be what we're going to do for the initial amounts of helium that we need before going into the more petroleum-based helium. And then the last blueprint that will be placed eventually will be one for producing aerogel. Aerogel, and then in future going into the carbon aerogel, but for now it's just aerogel. Nice little blueprint to produce some of that stuff. So that's what we're going to look forward to on the Sunday Factorio stream. As for the Morrowind stream for this week, we got through all of the remaining Thieves Guild quests. For one, we went through the Sadrith Mora as well as the Vivek quests for the Thieves Guild. Got all of that nice done, wrapped up, for the exception of the very final quests, which is to like kill folks in the Fighters Guild, because we don't have the skills to get the highest rank yet in Thieves, or in really any of the guilds thus far, but we'll get there soon. Also did the remaining Fighters Guild quests in Aldrune, again for the exception of not even starting quests to take out people who are in the Fighters Guild, because we sort of need to go and do their quests first. Outside of that, I think that's basically it. It was mainly just Aldrune fighters which took a while because those are actually pretty difficult quests of going into Thieves Guild and Sardath Mora and into Vivek. So that's what we got done on the Thursday Morrowind stream. I have also begun a Autonauts series. We are playing Autonauts now. I have up through part 11 recorded, and have been very much enjoying it thus far. In fact, just today I had a thought for doing a related piece of content, an actual unique type of content that involves Autonauts. I thought about this concept today for making videos where we can actually type out as code or pseudocode the programs that one can make in Autonauts. So taking Autonauts code and actually translating that into what it would look like as actual code. I think that would be a pretty fun video or maybe set of videos to help people really learn the basics of coding, because while Autonauts actually is a game where it teaches you how to think like a coder, there are some key exceptions there. It's not true coding logic. It very much depends a lot on the concept of an until, and that's not really how you think in terms of code. You don't think of an until something happens, or until this has been done this many times. You think of a while this hasn't been done this many times. You think in terms of whiles, not in terms of untils. So it will always be while something is true until something is either false or true, or while something is false until something is true. Yeah, that's close. That is closer to how one operates in terms of code. You don't just start with and, well, until this thing's done something. No, that's not initially how you think in terms of programming. So at least in my experience, my limited experience anyway. So that would be an interesting concept, I think, that I might delve into the relatively near future. The issue, as always, will be time. Time is always the key factor in terms of all of this. Now, in terms of the actual viewership for Twitch for the week, it was really, really, really good by comparison. Now, I will just bring up my stats now on my Twitch page. So, last Sunday's stream was 3.5 average this past Sunday, which was very nice. Much better than the 2.3 of the previous Sunday. But not quite as good as the 4.3 of the Sunday of 2 weeks ago. So, yay! We had people show up on the Sunday stream. And then the Tuesday stream, when I actually got Circuit 3s produced, that was a 6.0 average. 6 average viewers. That is the highest number average viewers that I have ever had on Twitch. So, yay! That's our new top average day. Is 6, and I hope that continues. Now, I have noticed a little bit of a pattern in that Tuesdays do seem to be, generally speaking, relatively consistently higher days than the Sunday stream, because this week it was 6. Last week was also a new high on Tuesday at 5.4. So last week's high was on Tuesday at 5.4, and this this week's high was a 6 on Tuesday. So that's telling me something. There's a bit of a pattern here. People are coming to watch me on Tuesdays. A bit more even than on Sundays, which I find a little weird, to be completely honest. And then this week, the Thursday stream, we had less people than last week, but it was still above 3. It was 3.4 for the Morrowind stream, as opposed to 4.3 last week. So that's still pretty good. As long as it's over 3, I am going to consistently be happy. I'm going to be happy, and as long as the trend is increasing over time, which it is, by the way, increasing over time, our average viewers for the month, for the past 30 days, is sitting at 3.6 now, so we are now fairly comfortably above the requirements for the affiliate status. Now, of course, all you really need to do is just hit 3 to get affiliate status, which I have done, but I feel a lot more comfortable now at this point in time in saying that we're going to be above 3 going forward. So, excellent. We have at least grown so that we are going to be consistently above 3, which makes me very, very, very much happy. Also, just a reminder that Twitch now is giving ad revenue to all affiliates, which means that if you do join my channel, there will be an ad when you first hop on to the channel, and I do get a fractional amount of money out of it. A tiny fractional amount of money out of it. It is basically meaningless. It is like 2%, if that, of what I've gotten out of the 3 people who have decided to do a Twitch Prime sub thus far in total, as well as the cheer that has happened through the Gentleman's Thoughts when I did get the non-zero circuit 3s. They cheered for 100, but it gave an extra 10%, did a command to give extra 10%, so it's 110 bits from that particular cheer. And that's amazing, especially since they gave a direct tip of $10 as well at that time. So all of that is great stuff, great news on the Twitch front. On the YouTube front, views overall are down still for the month, but up for the week by 27%. We're at 1.1k views. I did a lot of changes this past week that will ideally, this is all because of these optimizations that I've made. I have come up with a new title for the Pionodons stream. The Pionodons stream series is now called Pionodons Off the Rails. Because, well, A, we're not building rails on this map. We have no trains on this map, so that's the obvious for that. I'm also playing on Off the Rails as like craziness, because not building trains in and of itself is pretty crazy. We're also doing things unorthodox. We're doing things in an unorthodox method, way, in that we're trying to get things out of water rather than just mining stuff. So we're being unorthodox, so we're playing into that, and we're playing into the possessive of Pionodon. So it's Pionodon apostrophe S, which can be that it's possessive for Pionodon's mods as Off the Rails, or it can be read Pionodon is Off the Rails, which we're then calling Pionodon Off the Rails, or crazy, or just unorthodox, that kind of thing. So there's multiple meanings to that title, and it was a rare spark of even somewhat remote creativity from me. It took over 90 streams, or it took 90 streams to come up with that title. I am very happy about that title. So all of the videos have been renamed to Off the Rails, and the I think I renamed the playlist as well. So that will hopefully actually increase the amount of views there. Also, did a slight rename on the Morrowind playthrough stream today, in fact. So that is now officially called Let's Play Open MW Natural Growth Morrowind. To be a little bit more consistent with searching, because that's how we're going to get views on that on YouTube. That's like the only way we're going to get views on that on YouTube is if we are getting them from searches. So yeah, let's see. Last I checked, 648 subscribers. 648 subscribers as of today. I think that's like +1 from our last vlog. Pretty sure that's +1. Let me look at the 7-day. 7-day says +3, but I know I sat at 647 for a long time this week. So I don't know if that's necessarily accurate, that +3, as far as from the time that I recorded last week on Friday to this moment in time now. Anyway, that is what I wanted to say there on the YouTube side for the updates to the titles. I'll mention that the Autonauts Let's Play goes live every day at 8 a.m. So Autonauts is 8 a.m. The Morrowind videos are at 2 p.m. And the Pinedon's content is at 5 p.m. except for Fridays, in which case we have this Otaku vlog on Fridays at 5 p.m. That is the current schedule of things. That is the current schedule of things. You may also notice that my YouTube videos now have a watermark of my icon down in like this corner, this corner, grayscaled icon for that. Click on it and you can subscribe. Anything to help out with pointing people towards subscribing as we work our way towards the magical 1,000 subscribers that one needs in order to actually start getting ad income through YouTube. Not like it's going to be particularly valuable at the start, because let's just say that even if I had monetization on with 1,000 subscribers at the current, or at the time that I do hit 1,000, if everything holds and scales as it is now, what would that income look like? I've said this before, about $5 a month. And it only pays out when you accrue 100. So, yeah, I won't actually see that for a very long time. And we're not going to scale high enough in viewership for a long time. It will take time. That's just the way of things. It will take time. A lot of time, which is why I have made changes, slight changes to my tiers on Patreon this week. However, there is a bug right now, as of recording this video, with Patreon. And I don't think that this has been fixed yet. I've reported it, but I think it's still dead. And that is the Discord integration. So the Discord integration right now is basically broken. You cannot assign roles to reward tiers right now. There is a set of 500 errors when the Discord API is called on the Patreon website, which is not ideal. So that is currently borked for all intents and purposes. Hopefully they fix that sooner rather than later. But what I have done on Patreon is I have gone in and edited the initial tier to be ad forgiveness. And I've added a second low tier for more ad forgiveness, because basically, think of it this way: even if you aren't using adblock, if you are using adblock or not, doesn't matter. Think of it this way: if you were to block all ads forever for my channel, how many views do you think you're going to leave across the lifetime of this channel? If the answer is anywhere near 1,000, maybe you've provided me a couple of dollars in ad revenue. Because ad revenue is done by the 1,000 impressions. So think of it as, how many impressions do you think that you would give to ads by watching me? Well, at the moment, the answer is 0, because we don't have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I don't get any income from that anyway, so that's gone. But we technically do get ad revenue from Twitch, which is why I decided to do this now, because you could be blocking the ads on Twitch as they appear. So I went and I was setting these goals, which I'm bringing it up on my own screen now as I go into tiers to confirm that, yeah, it's still broken on the providing of the roles. But I made the first tier. The first tier is $1. It gives you access to Discord with the cosmetic role. You can access Discord regardless. It's free. You can access Discord. But if you pay the $1 for the Discord role. Also, I did enable in Discord that this is completely something separate and a bit of news as well. I do have a cosmetic role for Twitch subscribers now on Discord. So if you have your Twitch and Discord linked, it should give you that role if you have joined my Discord server. So you will be separated into your own little category as a Twitch subscriber on Discord. But if you are also a Patreon patron, the Patreon patronage will take precedence, and you will be categorized and colored for your name as a Patreon patron, even if you are also a Twitch subscriber. And it is that way very specifically because Patreon takes less money. That's pretty much the reason. Patreon is a much better method of support directly to me for a consistent means of support, because it is way less fees than Twitch. When you subscribe via Twitch, you are helping Twitch continue to exist as well as me, because they take half of all subscriber income. I only see half the money from subscriptions. If you do Twitch Prime subs, well, I get $2.50. Even though it's the equivalent of a $5 sub, I see $2.50, and then Amazon eats the other $2.50 from the Prime subscription service fees. Anyway, deep breath. So $1 per month and then $3 per month added for ad block forgiveness stuffs. $5 per month is the end screen recognition on all videos if you choose to accept that reward tier. Yeah, so $1 per month is way more than any number of ad impressions for you as an individual would provide me over the course of a month. I'm just going to throw that out there. Just going to throw that bomb out there. If every single person who watches this channel were to give $1 per month from Patreon, I could live my life. And to do this full time. Like, full stop. Full stop. If each and every person who is currently subscribed to my channel, all 648 of you, were to give $1 on Patreon, I could make content full time. Under the current state of my finances, I could do it full time. Beyond full time. I could do like 80+ hour weeks doing this because I really enjoy doing this. I would be more than willing to put that much time making content for YouTube and Twitch. But yeah. Until then, we're going to try to grow up to the 1,000 subs to unlock the ads on the YouTube page, because 1,000 views in a week, 1.1K in a week, that's a couple bucks, or a buck for the week, somewhere along those lines. It ranges between, I think, $1 and $5 usually per 1,000 for YouTube ad revenue. So if I continue to get 1,000 views per week, well, that can be upwards of like 10 per month, somewhere along those lines. But still, as I had said before, you need 100 to get paid out through Google AdSense. So, yeah. I mean, it would be a lot better if even just 10% of people, like if even 10% of my subscribers are like, hey, have a buck every month. Like, that changes my life, literally. If even 60 of you gave a buck per month, I have one person right now who is giving that $1, who came to my Patreon, or came to my Discord and was like, hey, can I get your save file for day 1 of the stream? And I was like, sure, go ahead. So now everyone will be able to get the day 1 save file directly on my Discord. And I decided, you know what? You're a sub. If you want any additional saves, request it through Patreon and I'll give it to you. So I now am giving access to all of my save files through my Patreon page. So if you join my Patreon, not only will you feel better about yourself for blocking any ads that currently exist through Twitch or may exist in future through YouTube, you will also gain access to all of the save files for what I stream in particular. Right now it's what I stream. I think I'm going to add the Autonauts saves at some point as well. And then if you join my Discord server, everyone, regardless who joins my Discord server, will have access to my Factorio blueprints that I post on there. I have a link to a shared Google Drive folder that I can just add text files with the various blueprint codes. So, yeah, all of that currently exists. If you have ideas for additional reward tiers for Patreon, please let me know in the comments below this video. I am very much interested in hearing what ideas you have. I have thought about, as the Discord grows, eventually, like, because right now, not a lot of people on my Discord server. I've got 3 people total now, besides myself, as part of the Discord server as of this very moment in time of recording this video. As we get more people, at the moment, I have a chat called Otaku Suggestions. I have a section in my Discord for suggestions. this would be a great place to go to leave your suggestions for what sort of rewards I should have for Patreon tiers. But I know for a fact that as we grow, eventually I am going to change access to the suggestions on Discord to people who are supporters through either Twitch Prime or through Patreon. And if we grow to a point where even that can become hard to handle, that's going to be where we have to go into specifically the Patreon tiers and giving access only to people who are giving more at that point. But only if it becomes a little bit hard to handle and spammy in the suggestions place. And again, no guarantees any suggestion will be followed, but I'll at least read through the suggestions. That much I can guarantee is that I will at least read through the suggestions and take them into account. I'm also looking for suggestions at the moment for additional Twitch emotes. Thoughts on what to use for Twitch emotes? I particularly am in need of a T2 and a T3 emote at the moment. My T1 emote is the, of course, non-zero or not zero emote that I have made myself, and I am looking for 2 more. I don't really have as much time anymore to take care of all of that. So that is Patreon, that is the Twitch, that is the YouTube. What about real life? Yesterday I went to the eye doctors. So, yeah, I didn't have any afternoon income. Gee, thanks for that long visit at the eye doctors. For the general usual checkup for the eyes. And it came back, got a copy of my prescription, ever so slight change to my left eye in particular. My left eye is worse than my right eye in terms of my vision. Hasn't changed too much over these years. Maybe could consider the laser eye surgery if I ever had the money to do that. Even though a big chunk of it gets covered actually through my current eye insurance, I still wouldn't be able to cover the rest myself. Plus, even then, it's like, well, you'd sort of have to make sure that, like, you'd have to be absolutely certain that if you get laser eye surgery that you are not going to need another pair of glasses for at least 10 to 20 years for it to start actually paying for itself, or to at least offset the cost of just buying glasses every few years. Because you have to weigh the cost of the laser eye surgery versus the savings you get for not having to buy glasses or contact lenses during that amount of time. And it still takes a very long time to pay off, even though it's significantly cheaper than what it used to be. So, yeah, I have my prescription now. Doctor said my eyes are great, was able to get this new prescription's power to get me to 2015 vision with the new prescription. Just we confirmed, hey, I can totally do 2015 if I really wanted to with these particular new lenses. These lenses that I'm wearing now got me to 2015 when I got them initially when I did this prescription a couple of years ago. 2 years ago, as of November 1st, was the last eye appointment that I had out in Kansas at a different eye doctor. So the one that I saw yesterday, Thursday, was the eye doctor I had previously seen way back in like the year 2014, 2015-ish, around that time. And he said, well, even compared to back then, that the prescription hasn't really changed too significantly to the point where he would suggest getting new glasses as a necessity. So we were we just were like, okay, well, I'll keep my current glasses that I got a couple years ago. Going forward, probably can keep them for another 2 years if I really so desired, unless they are literally disintegrating around my face. In which case, then you probably want some new glasses. Uh, I've already replaced the pads on these, so, and I have several additional pads that I can use as replacements. That's the one part of the glasses that don't last as long. So, yeah, my glasses are fine. So my eyesight's been stable as far as I am concerned, besides the ever so slight change on the left eye. Left eye has a slight astigmatism as well. So I'm nearsighted. Obviously, I'm nearsighted. I can see clearly at about, you know, let's see, that close. That's where I can actually, yeah, that's where I can actually see my fingerprints clearly. Beyond about there, beyond about right there, that's when it starts getting blurry, and it blurs, and then it halos. So I see a halo effect. That is how the blur manifests itself, and that can cause issues with like lights and stuff, because lights just halo all the way around, and it's very disturbing. It's just a lack of focus. That's all. That's what it is. It is quite literally, that's nearsightedness. It is a lack of focus at a distance. But the left eye also has an astigmatism, which changes the prescription a little bit for that eye. Sadly, my vision is bad enough that so one of the reasons why I wanted this prescription was to look into potentially buying some VR lenses, prescription VR lenses. And as it turns out, that left eye in particular really screws things up. Because the company that does VR prescription lenses does not offer my prescription of lenses for that left eye by default. You have to do a custom order. And I can already see that it would be costing well over, and it's in euros as well, because of course it is. Or is it pounds? I forget exactly, but it's in a foreign currency, and it's already like 95, even without my true prescription. So that would be well over 100 to get something like that for my Oculus Rift in particular. That's what I wanted it for, was the Rift. So in terms of VR, these lenses fit the Rift. They fit the Rift. They're just fine with the PSVR. So I own just the Rift and the PlayStation VR. And the PlayStation VR, incredibly comfortable. I love how comfortable the PSVR is. I just wish that the Rift had the VR style, the PSVR style of like actual mounting to your face. Because, in my opinion, the Oculus Rift is incredibly uncomfortable, especially compared to the PSVR, but I prefer the Rift's graphics. Like, its power, its capability is superior to the PSVR. But I want to like swap the innards of the Rift to the PlayStation VR's actual mounting gear. Can someone make that happen, please? Like, please, someone out there, can you actually make a better mounting head mount for the Rift, please, eventually? Because these glasses are very tight in the Rift. They're very, very tight, and they smush on the face. They smush, and put a lot of pressure on the bridge of the nose. when attempting to wear glasses when wearing the Oculus Rift, and my previous glasses to these didn't fit at all in them. So that was a problem, a major, major problem. Which is why I wanted to look into potentially getting some prescription lens inserts for the Rift in particular, so that I could just take my glasses off and wear the headset and be able to actually see what you're doing. And by the way, in case anyone is wondering, they think that because the thing is literally here, that the screens are here in front of your face, that you shouldn't have blurry vision. Because if you're nearsighted, that's wrong, because the focus point is infinity distance. So even though the screens are here, the way that it works is that it sets your eyes focus. Your eyes aren't staring here. Your eyes don't look here. They look there, out into infinity. So if you can't, and it makes it so that while the screen is here, it makes it so that your infinity vision is clear if you have good eyesight. So it's different, shall we say. It's different. It isn't focusing at here, it's focusing at a distance, and if you have poor distance eyesight, as is the case with nearsightedness, even though you're nearsighted and would otherwise be able to see something at a focus at this distance, you can't. It doesn't work that way. So you need to have some sort of, either wear your glasses in the headset, which is incredibly uncomfortable, regardless of whether or not they do fit, or get some special lenses for them. And yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon. That left eye is just slightly out of range, due to the astigmatism. The cylinder won't go high enough by default for the sphere value. So my right eye is a negative 6.5 on the sphere, and my left eye is a negative 7.5 on the sphere. And the left eye's astigmatism has a cylinder of -1, axis 165. So that's like the prescription is the right eye is just negative 6.5, and then left eye is negative 7.5 sphere, -1 cylinder, and 165 on the axis, which they don't let you go all the way up to -1 on the cylinder if you have a negative 7.5 on the sphere for that particular service without doing a custom request. So that sucks. That absolutely sucks. But I think I've rambled on for very much long enough for this particular update vlog. That's all I have to talk about. I've talked myself out, basically, today. So with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat. If you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/OtakuShowboat, on Twitter at OtakuShowboat, visit my website at otakushowboat.com, and help support my continued existence on Patreon at patreon.com/OtakuShowboat. I hope to see you all on the next update vlog.